Good morning everybody, Calm Biker here. Bit of a different view today. I'm on my way with Mrs. C to Brimham Rocks, which is a beauty spot in Yorkshire, or a natural rock formation that I've never been to before, and I quite want to have a look at it. It's got some quite weird balancing rocks. I may well video it and put a video up. But on my way, slightly out of the way, I popped into a bike shop and I've borrowed this thing. This is a Kawasaki W800. I've always said I didn't really understand the appeal of the retro bike, the bike that looks like it's 50 years old, 30 years old, whatever it might be, but is full of modern technology. And I thought, if you don't know something, you can either ignore it or find out. So I thought I'll find out, and I'm going to give this one a try. And I thought I'll try. There's a few that I thought about trying, like the Bonneville is the obvious one, and the Scrambler and things like that. The Scrambler's kind of a bit more modern, I suppose, but the Bonneville is kind of the obvious choice because it is kind of the original. This one I think looks more like a Bonneville than a Bonneville, weirdly enough. But this one's got a bit of heritage. It's the replacement for the W650, which was a air-cooled carburettor style engine that couldn't meet Euro regs, so they had to get rid of it, and they replaced it with this, which is a W800, which is still air-cooled, 5 gears, but it's fuel injection rather than carburettors. And this one is dead as well. This one ended in 2016, when again it couldn't meet the Euro regs. But I thought I'd give it a try, a bit of fun, and somewhere between the full-on retro modern technology and a kind of classic bike. I think it was based on an AGS originally. I think the W650, or the one that came before the W650 was actually under license from AGS, I think. Not that I know anything about AJS, but you know. So Mrs. C's on the back to see if she likes the retro type thing as well, and I'm giving it a ride, and to be fair, it's alright. I thought, I mean, it's weird, it's they call it W800, it's not quite an 800cc, it's 770 something, 773 or something like that. If you compare it to the 750 I had, because that's the closest in engine size, the Z750R, chalk and cheese. Obviously, the Z750R was a bit of a goes fast as you can type bike, whereas this is not fast in the least. I guess this is recreating the classics. But it's strange, I guess you class it, I'm going to call it an 800 because it's quicker to say. Mrs. C just headbutted me, so it must have some grunt. And yet it's an A2 bike. You can actually ride this on the A2 license because it's only got I think it's 47 horsepower or something, same as the Flying Strawberry, and it's a right fun little thing, to be fair. I'm quite enjoying it. It's buzzy through the bars, vibrating away. Again, I guess that's the classic style. Apparently they did try and recreate that, but it's got a balance shaft as well to take a lot of the buzziness out of it. But it's kind of a pleasant buzz. Certainly one for the ladies, if you know what I mean. It's quite weird though, it's no bar ends, so I wonder if that makes a difference. Apparently you can get bar ends for it, but I guess that'd spoil the look. Big wheels on it, 19 each on the front, 18 on the back, spoked, tubed. Never had tube tyres before, never had spoke tyres before, except on my bicycle. Obviously I had tube tyres on my bicycle too. But yeah, I mean, it's not a review this obviously because I know nothing, but it does seem like quite a lot more fun than I expected it to be. If this is what classic motorcycling was like, then I completely get it. It feels like a proper machine. It doesn't feel like there's anything getting in the way and kind of taking over. I've not gone quick on it yet. Oop. I keep finding the horn instead of the indicator. Ah, well, everybody around me will think I just tooted that guy on the bike and think I knew him. Yeah, I've not gone particularly quick on it yet, although it's alright. I'm doing 50 here. It overtakes nice. Same power as a strawberry, but I would say it probably picks up a little bit quicker. Apparently all of the torque is down in about 2,500 revs, and it only revs up to 7,000 redline. But it certainly pulls away alright. I mean, it's no sports bike, obviously, but it's not sluggish. I'm going to go on this road now, which is a bit quicker and has a couple of bends in it. I have to say I'm slightly wary of the tyres. I've not ridden on tyres like this before. They're kind of the classic style. Not just the fact that they're tubed and spoked wheels, but that them kind of lots and lots of tread style tyres. That classic look. Loads of tread and not a huge amount of curve on them. I mean, there's some, they're not the proper flat kind of profile, but certainly it doesn't look like you could lean this thing like you can a Z-Thou or even a strawberry. Whee! Yeah, you can overtake. And I'm not looking down, but you can speed. What a lovely little bike. I wonder what it's like to sit on this for 22 hours and do an iron butt. Because it is very, very vibey. Although now I'm up at 4,500 revs, most of that vibration has gone away. There's vibrations more in my legs now than there is in my hands. Ooh, there's some engine braking when you drop down a gear. And definitely that red line comes early. I hit the limiter there. It's a very quiet bike, you can hear it on the engine more than you can the exhaust. I'm sure you can get aftermarket exhaust and things for this, but I guess it's the type of bike that if you did, you just want to kind of pop, not a big shouty thing. Mirrors are pretty good. They have an interesting vibration effect. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. They're big old mirrors and it's a good view. But it is quite fairground attraction style mirrors. They they certainly wobble. And I don't think it's that they're loose, I think it's just that the style of the mirrors. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ride down this road, I'm going to turn around and head back to the top of it again, where I'm going to drop Mrs. C off, and she's going to get herself a coffee, and I'm going to give it a bit of a solo ride to try that. That was easy enough. That was a nice little bend there. It's an easy 60 mile an hour bend, and I just went round it at 60-ish without even thinking about it. So obviously it's a nice confidence inspiring bike, I suppose. It's not, new bike to you. Sometimes you're a bit wary of it, aren't you? But this one certainly seems to have you relaxed in pretty quick. Seat's really comfortable as well. I'm sat quite far forward and it looks big when you look at it from a distance, but when you get up to the bike and realise how small the bike is, suddenly the seat seems a lot smaller. So with Mrs. C on it, I'm sat right at the front of the seat, but it's really thick, really plush. I've never sat on a seat this comfortable before. It's like well, if you're old enough to remember those, when you used to get the 1970s style black leather settees, couches, sofas, whatever you want to call them, and they were real thick and had the deep ribs in them. It's kind of like that. Down at 3,000 revs, very, very vibey. The mirrors are buzzing, but actually buzzing rather than swaying, but the handlebars are really buzzing. And at 3,500 revs, the buzz from the handlebars is entirely gone, and now the foot pegs are buzzing. I reckon there's going to be a sweet spot where nothing reverberates. Boo. It's a funny old noise it makes. Bit reluctant on the roundabout to hold the line. So it's not really fair when you've got quite a bit of weight on it. That's me mainly, not Mrs. C. I'm not saying Mrs. C adds a lot of weight, you know. Barely anything of her. Whee! Let's try the brakes. Yeah, they... how would you describe the brakes? Adequate. Every so often I'll get a new comment on the video where I rode the Vulcan S and I grumbled about the brakes on it, and I keep getting the same comment over and over again of, I've got a Vulcan S and my brakes are fine, you need to ride it again. Well, I'm not going to, but I think it's to be fair, they probably are adequate. It's just that thing of depending what you're used to, isn't it? And I'm not petty enough to reply with try a Z1000 and brake on that and then you'll see what I mean. But they're alright. The rear brake is quite impressive. It's a single disc on the front. You could probably do with two, or could probably do with a brake upgrade on this. And apparently there is a brake upgrade for it, so I would imagine a few people go for that. But the rear brake is a drum brake, and it feels quite nice, quite progressive. Front brake feels, say, okay, adequate. I don't think you'd be wanting to do an emergency stop at this speed in a bend, but you know, for normal riding it's fine. I just get around these corners alright. I mean, nothing spectacular, but it's a nice series of bends, this. And not a grumble. I've heard people say that once you get into this kind of speed that it can be a bit floaty, but it's fine. It's soft. I mean, as I say, the seat is plush, the suspension is plush. Some people might say the suspension is cheap, but it is quite smooth, quite floaty. But you don't feel disconnected. Quite enjoying this. If ever I've said anything about these bikes that has seemed derogatory, I apologise now. This is lovely. I'm not swapping my Z1000 for it, but it's lovely. It pulls alright. I keep getting head-butted, it's my own fault. Coming down the gears, it's got a lot of engine braking. The riding position's quite a surprise to me. I kind of expected that the pegs would be low, maybe a bit forward, and that, yeah, not quite cruiser, but getting close to that. But actually, it's quite squished up. If you were tall, which I'm not, for once that's a good thing. But if you were tall, this bike's probably not for you. It's got a 790mm seat, which is bliss for my 800mm legs. And but the pegs are actually quite high up, so my knees are higher up the tank than I would have expected. And it's got these kind of rubber grip thingies, but they're not really very grippy. Whoa, engine braking accident. But you're not going to be trying to get your knee down on it, I don't think. Well, some people would, but not me. Right, I'll drop Mrs. C here for a cup of coffee, and then I'll take it up and down that road again by myself. I would flash this guy out, but it doesn't have a flashy button. Push, you know, the little passy flashy button. Don't have one. It's got the modern headlamp always on, but it hasn't got the flasher. So if you want to flash it, you've got to flick the switch forwards and backwards. Off we go again. Whee! You could have a lot of fun on this bike. Now that it's one up, it's yeah, it's quick. It is quick for what it is, you know. As I say, it's not a sports bike, but it's really torquey down the bottom end. What I need to do as well is find somewhere to pull over where I can have a walk around it, don't I? So let's do that. This'll do. Well, that's a nasty patch of gravel. Very easy to ride slow. Right, let's turn it off and have a look at it. There's very little I can say about it. I don't know a lot about these things, you know, I just ride them and enjoy them. But it's a pretty thing. Maybe not this one. This one has taken some stone damage. And is a bit worse for wear from it. There's a lot of paint missing. There's a lot of stone chips on the engine. There's one stone chip on the tank. And the swing arm's taken a pounding as well. I guess it needs more in the way of protection there somehow, I guess. But the swing arm's taken a pounding. You won't be able to see it on this camera there, but and it's succumbing to a bit of rustage, a bit of tin worm. See what I mean about these tyres? The big squidgy tread blocks. Look at that seat though! Look at that! Big soft seat. See, there's your air-cooled parallel twin, 360 degree apparently. Which is exciting. I've seen some reviews of it. I know that means that both pistons are in line and go up and down at the same time, but there you go. But one's firing while the other one's exhausting. Is that right? Something like that. No, it can't be, can it? One's compressing as the other one's exhausting. They're the opposite way around to each other. Quite a bit of chrome on it. If I was to have one, I'd have one of the ones that wasn't chromed. Or at least not as much chrome as that. It's quite a pretty little thing. Somehow not as pretty on this side as on that side. What is that? It's that shaft thingy, innit? That shaft drive thingy, whatever it is. I forget what you call it. As I say, I'm no expert in these things. Even the W badge I kind of quite like. So, apparently a lot of this, maybe not that part, but a lot of these parts are metal, where you would normally expect them to be plastic. People say that Kawasaki had this idea that this could be a collector's item in the future. So they kind of went to town on it. I think they've done a good job. I quite like it, I do like the look of it. Maybe it is the radiator that puts me off the other ones. The fact that you can actually see the modern technology kind of on show on them and tried to be hidden. I don't know. Anyway, that's what it looks like. I best get back on it. I've only got it for a limited time. So I'm going to take it now down the A63, which is almost but not quite motorway, to see what it's like at motorway speeds. Oh yeah, the sound. A nice little but it'll never win any Rev Bomb awards, will it? It's fun. I think it's right for the bike. Right, off we go again. It's definitely pokey. Oh, it's great fun. There's those brakes. Yeah, they're alright. Yeah, they're not bad at all. So they don't have that bite you would expect from a sports bike, but you know, it's not supposed to be a sports bike, is it? But in terms of actually stopping the bike, they do a decent job. At risk of getting grief, they're definitely a lot better than the brakes were on that Vulcanesso road. I do wonder if there was a problem with that bike. There we go, we're at motorway speeds now and it's fine. Those dials are nice, aren't they? The only giveaway is the odometer being digital LCD. The dials are quite in keeping with the classic style. I don't know what my voice will sound like on this, but I suspect it'll be okay even at this speed. Well, maybe not this speed, but you know, at normal speeds. Because there's no screen or anything. I mean, the mirrors are kind of there. They could be having an effect, but I'm not feeling particularly buffeted. And it soaks up the bumps really nicely. Because they don't really bother maintaining roads properly anymore. I ride this particular road a lot and I know where the bumps are. And this one is dealing with them much better than my other bikes do. Probably because it's got soft suspension and a soft seat. Do big wheels make a difference? I don't know. Whee! I don't know what that feels like, going around that corner then. I just suddenly got the feeling of a very, very small bike under my bum. It really is tiny. It's like I'm going around a corner on a skateboard. A skateboard with an 800cc engine, of course. Let's do it again. Whee! You can, at that kind of lean, I mean it's not a lot of lean, but as you're leaning it over and flicking it, you can definitely feel the difference in the big treaded tyres. Nice bike. I'm going to finish this one up now. So it's a nice bike. I'd have one, I think. I think I'd buy one. Maybe not this one. Maybe one that was in a bit better condition, but I'd definitely have one. But I don't think it's going to happen because it won't be a replacement for a Z1000, it'll be a replacement for a Strawberry, it'll be a two-up bike. And I'm not sure Mrs. C likes it. In fact, I'm pretty sure Mrs. C doesn't like it. I actually decided to ride this one first of the classic-y styled ones because we went to the NEC motor show, not motor show, they give you a wipe just in case because I'm getting splattered with bugs. The NEC motorbike show, whatever it's called, probably called the NEC motorbike show. We went to that the other year when this was still available, so I think it was 2016. And whee! This is great fun. Yeah, I went to the NEC motorbike show, and obviously it was a treat for me to go, and Mrs. C was in tow. It's like when we go on a shopping trip and I'm just kind of kicking my heels and looking for somewhere to sit. And Mrs. C found somewhere to sit, and it was the only bike that she showed any interest in really, was this one. And so she came over to it. I was looking around the Ninja H2 and she was looking at this and saying she really liked it. And it was the only bikes that she threw a leg over. I'll find that photo and stick it in. But she threw a leg over and had a sit on it, and we said at the time, this could be your bike. If you do your test, you could have one of these. But now that she's actually had a go on the back of one, I said, what did you think? And she kind of screwed her face up and went, meh, I'm not sure. I said, why is that? She says, it feels like a high-speed office chair. And I think at the back, I mean, now she's used to being on the Honda that has obviously the back box, top box, which makes a big difference. I'm not sure this would look any good with the top box on, I'm not sure. But she had nothing behind her, and the grab handles that you can hold on with on the Honda, they're really long, so you can have the standard one hand in front, so as you accelerate you can pull with one hand and push with the other, and the same when you're braking, you can pull with one and push with the other and feel quite stable on the back. This has two very small handles that you can just get your hands through, and they're right underneath where your bum is, so there's no leverage at all. So probably quite an apt description is that high-speed office chair or office stool or something, I don't know. Do you get office stools? That's not right, is it? So I don't think it's going to be for us, unfortunately. But anyway, it's been fun riding it. So I'll sign off. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ride safe, and I'll talk to you all again soon.